Alright, so starting out here, just wanted to touch on a couple of things on the Goblin 800 here. So I had mentioned earlier about in the part 1 that they don't use any carbon fiber below. So I looked through, and this is how they do it. You literally build the entire helicopter here up, and then all this really is these side plates, which I guess is some really hard plastic. But these will bolt here. Oh, let me take this stuff off. Oh, that's not going to come off. These will bolt here on these carbon fiber, with these metal blocks will bolt on, right? And then this down here will bolt to the skids, and that's it. That's like the entire thing is up here. So you build the whole thing with the tail and everything on here, and you could literally do this last, which is kind of cool, I guess. So definitely a little different design. But so what I did is I went, I don't even remember where I left off actually with the other one, but I went here with my swash and Loctited all my balls in there. So this is ready. This is a little different than what I've seen. So they've got the anti-rotation bracket. I'm trying to get it in the camera. The anti-rotation bracket. Normally the aileron servo, or the elevator servo I should say, is where the anti-rotation bracket, so this would share the ball on it. But here they have a special arm just for the anti-rotation bracket. So you got your elevator servo and then 2 aileron servos here. So just a little something different to point out there. Pretty cool. And so, but what I'm going to do here, I think, is I'm going to go ahead and mount the servos. I'll get the servos mounted in here, like they say. For the servos, I have these arms are actually this number right here. I remember I had bought these. I forgot I even bought them, but these arms, I'm not even sure what these are, but I think they're just, well, they probably would work. Let's see, they tell you, I remember reading somewhere in here about, you know, the distance from the bolt to where you want to put your ball, the linkage ball. And so I think these obviously are the ones that they give you the number for in the book, so those are the ones I will use. So I'm going to do that, and then I'm going to jump ahead to, because all of this stuff here, the rotor head, I did this. I put the block together. I forgot how I did. I put the head block, you know, these washout arms, and you take some green Loctite to hold the bearings. Inside here you have these 2 radial bearings with they're flanged, and then inside there is a little spacer, and then the same thing out here. 2 little radial bearings with flanges on them, and there's the picture. Simple as that. And so I put that together. Those are Loctited, ready to go. You can't do anything like I mentioned before until you get your swash plate leveled and everything, because this bolts through there, so you can't do nothing there. So I've done that. I've done this. Okay, this is all the rotor head stuff, which I'm just gonna just wait on that. This is the motor, which I can't do any of that because I ordered another motor, which I don't have yet. So I'm going to just go ahead to this is the tail section. So I'm going to take all of this stuff, which is my motor pulley, head block. These are the swash to grip links here that I built up. These bolts is this bolt here is the one that goes down. This goes through. There's a shim that goes between. And I got my dampers. It looks like it takes 280s. I'll take 280s and 290s on each side. And then these are your servo to swash links, thrust bearings, radial bearings for the rotor grips. Again, can't do any of that stuff. So I'm just going to take this entire tray, put it to the side for now, and then I'll get this out. This is this foam, and this is all the tail stuff. Let's see, let's take a look at one of these. Radial bearing, there's two radial bearing. I guess in this bag 11, is probably all the thrust bearings. This is a 3-blade tail, like I mentioned. Pitch lever. This is built from the factory. Hub, plates for the side. So what I'm going to do is, when I come back, I'll have the rotor assembly, the tail rotor assembly built, you know, as far as all this goes. And, well, actually, hold on. We're looking at the Genesis book. So it's going to be this, one. Because it's a 3-blade tail. This you can probably go by this picture. It's exactly the same, but yeah, this is the typical stuff here. So I will. I'm going to go ahead and build all this, and then I'll come back. We'll check it out. I'll have my servos mounted, and we'll see what it looks like after that. So I'll be back. Alright, so I just wanted to cut in here real quick. Haven't gotten to the servos yet, but I did get the tail built, and I just wanted to show this tail. This is the smoothest tail I have ever put together, and I built a lot of helicopters, I gotta tell you, and this is just the smoothest thing. A little bit of a pain in the behind to put together, and I'll show you. Took me a minute to get exactly. Let me see if I can come down on this. So what we got is, you've got, this is typical stuff here. Thrust bearing, and there's 2 radial bearings inside the grip. Little, it looks like a spring washer, although it's not very springy. The ones that I put on anyway, it looks like it's a spring washer, but, and then so that's normal stuff. But then when you put together these links, you've got this little tiny bushing. Where is it? This side. Little tiny bushing goes in there, so you want to put a little bit of grease out here, but yet they want you to use green Loctite in there, so I dabbed a little bit into the threads. Tried to put a little bit of grease here without getting it on the threads, and threaded it through. And it seemed like it came, you know, it worked fine. But then on this side, they've got this bushing here. It's got a little flange on it, and it's threaded. So I think, I kind of do remember this. I think my other Goblin was like this too, but I don't remember the flange, although maybe it was like that. It was a couple of years ago. But you take this bushing with the flange that's threaded, and put it through this link, and then the bolt goes through the blade grip and threads into that. It's a little tough holding this too, because this wants to spin, so I use my hemostat pliers there to hold it. And obviously it's a 2mm bolt, so it doesn't have to be too tight, but very, very nice. I really, really like this. Is something. And then they give you, you know, once you do that, you go back to the Genesis book to put the side together, because this is all the same. I guess, you know, the other side of this, you know, will be in another bag. I don't know. Obviously there has to be another side of it there. It's showing it there. But just wanted to show that real quick. Very, very nice. So I am going to get my servos bolted in, and it'll probably be it. Very nice looking servos these are. And so I'll do that. Let me see if I could zoom out here. Zoom out. And so, yeah, I'm going to do that. Get all these servos mounted in there, and then I'll come on back again, and we'll see what's up next. Alright, so just showing real quick what I've done. I've got 3 servos mounted, cyclic servos. Nothing really much to show, except I did not use the grommets, which I usually do, but they show in the picture that they're just being bolted right to the aluminum. Here. So I just, you know, of course you get this carbon plate, and these are 2.5mm bolts, and so I just bolted it right to it, good and tight. I usually do put the grommets in, but they say they don't show them, so. And with the wiring, they've got kind of a pretty cool wiring. I got it out here. So you got this little plastic cover here, right? Let's see if I can get it out right quick. And with this thing, looks like it will bolt. There's actually 2 holes right here for it, and that will go right there, and that's why they have you leave this bolt out. And so this will sit like that, and then all the wires will go underneath it. Let's see. Oh, why don't I just take it out? There we go. Something like this here. So it looks like that's gonna. Here they got these wires, all of these wires, the speed control, which is going to sit up there. They're all kind of, I don't know if they're all going to fit in there. I guess they do. Well, that's the least of my problems right now. But I just wanted to show it. So, and they also give you this cool little piece of carbon. So when you line up these servos, you lay this on here, and it kind of gives you a little artificial horizon line, because obviously the servos are tilted, so your neutral or 0 point is like this. Obviously you couldn't have it like that, right? So to give you this little thing, and I took and they got pretty even, really. I just kept playing, moving the arms around till I got one that fit perfect, and all 3 of them really are pretty 90. So that kind of worked out. So that's that. The next thing I think I'm going to do, I got out this bag, and this is for the motor, but I don't have the motor, so I think I'm probably going to move on to the tailbone. Oh yeah, one other thing too here. So these bolts, these studs here, right, they get what is maybe 6mm lock nuts and washers. And you know, when I was looking at this, I'm like, yeah, you can get a nut driver right in there. But after you put the servos in, there we go. After you put the servos in, obviously you're not getting no nut driver in there, so that's going to have to be done with a wrench. No big deal, but so in this nice little this really neat little setup for this. So this is the motor tray, and then this bolts to the motor tray like so, and then the ESC tray bolts on there. So pretty intricate little layout. I mean, this is all in there. Nice piece of carbon here with some rubber molded around the edges. Maybe the canopy just rubs that or something. But so that's it with that. So I think next, this out of the way. I think next what I'm going to do is move on to the tail. Tailbone. I'll tell you, this helicopter is huge. Now, this don't even fit in the picture, but this this is it's quite a bit. Oh yeah, the tail servo goes in there. I guess I'll get this built. I mean, once I get this mounted, I don't know what I'm going to do. I'm going to have to move things around on this bench because it's not going to fit. So, I will work on this. You know, all this stuff. I'll do this. Maybe get all this in. Maybe get the tail belt. And that's the thing about the belt. You can't put the belt on. Well, I guess you could lay the motor belt in there because the tail belt goes underneath that, so obviously this has to be in there. So far this is a very pleasurable build, I should say. Really nothing so difficult. The worst part was probably getting these little links together. So I'll work on the tail and then come back and show you what all that looks like together. Alright, so I didn't want to get too ahead of myself without showing what I've done. So I basically built the entire tail boom assembly. It's really too big to show in the camera, so I'll just go over what I've done here, starting at the back. So I had showed the tail section. And what they've got here, they've got a piece of aluminum where it needs to be aluminum, really, where you got your tail slider and you know, tail rotor assembly, and then on the other side is a piece of carbon fiber where I guess it's not quite as critical, and they sandwich that together very nicely. Inside the boom here is the typical double-sided tape with blind nuts inside a piece of carbon fiber that these bolts straight into. And so nothing completely out of the ordinary there. Just wanted to show it. Then you've got a, I don't know if it shows the set screw, but there's a set screw there that holds the pulley to the shaft. That you want to make sure that's good and tight and Loctited. And then this is different. This skid, tail skid here, is, they want you to glue it. Well, this is a picture of the tail. So they want you to glue this to this. We're using like a silicone glue. So I get silicone, something that is not permanent maybe. But if I could get away with not gluing, I'd rather do that. So I just drilled a hole through it and put a bolt through it. It's a button head bolt, and now I can take it on and off as much as I want. I guess the idea is if you do crash, normally the boom is going to be trashed anyway, so you'd be able to get this off and reuse it on the new one. I don't know. I just didn't really like the idea of gluing it on there. I could probably put another bolt here. There's a piece of the boom that they don't show here, but I mean, there's plenty to put a bolt through it. That's good and tight, so I did it that way. And then moving up, they've got this this nice little tail control rod guide with this piece of fiberglass or whatever this is. I don't honestly know if this is fiberglass. I believe it's fiberglass. I'd be surprised if it was carbon fiber, but yeah, it is fiberglass because I remember drilling the holes here. This little guide, you just bolt it on with these two self-tapping screws, and that holds the control guide. Real simple stuff there. And then in the front mounts your tail servo. Now this is interesting. It's a little surprising. I've just got my belt just zip tied there, so I'm ready to put it on. So let me see. They've got, you see in this picture, this is a piece of very thick aluminum, right? And then they bolt it to the boom with 3 nylon bolts. And it looks like that is all that holds this boom on, which I can't really believe that. Obviously that must be good enough. This is really thick stuff here, but I can't believe that would be all that's going to hold this boom on. That's what it looks like. This is going to go and bolt in these 2 holes here. There's and they've got this kind of reinforced a little bit. But I don't know. I mean, hey, look, I'm not an engineer. Obviously it works. You'd think they'd have something up on this part, but and then after you put these bolts in, you use this little carbon fiber wrench that they give you. You tighten these plastic or nylon nuts as tight as you could, and they have a lock plate that goes over it. Let's see if they show. Here's the picture here. And then they want you to glue this lock plate in with some CA. I put some hot glue there so I can get it off if I have to. I guess that's the idea of CA, but it's just basically holding this so it doesn't come out. Hopefully the camera is picking it up. And then for the tail servo, they have, this is really cool. Let me see if I could show this a little better here. Let me zoom down here. Right here. This little piece of fiberglass is molded into the boom. And its purpose is there's two holes through here, so you can take your the tail servo wire, and kind of wrap it or fold it up and zip tie it there so it doesn't get in the way of the belt. Which I thought was really cool. Let me zoom out. I wish I had my flashlight with me and I could put some light in there so you could see, but I don't know if you could see that or not. But right in here. It's really nice. So this is ready to go on the boom. I was going to go ahead and put it on, but I can't do that until I get my motor mounted, because the tail belt is underneath it. So the motor's supposed to be here in 2 days, and I'll get that mounted. So basically this entire boom is ready to go on, and once I put it on, it's going to make moving it around difficult on the bench. But it is what it is. It's got to be on there, right? So let's see where we are now. Okay, this is mounting the servo. Oh, here's a picture of it. This is really nice. Right here, what I'm talking about. Yeah, you zip tie that there, and then the belt can't get in the way of the belt. Which is super nice design. I like it. So that's the tail. Next is they show you mounting it. It's one 90-degree turn counterclockwise to get the belt right. I always get that wrong the first time. And you just got to make sure this turns clockwise and this turns this way. So that's that. And they do have this plate goes underneath. I'm not really sure what this does. You could see I don't remember where something fell on the floor. I don't remember where I seen where that bolts, but maybe now the next thing I'll do is get these side frames and the skids on, and then this thing will be sitting on its skids. Maybe I'll do that next. And yeah, all this stuff. Oh, that's where this other piece goes, from here to I don't know. Oh, I could mention this too. I had emailed SAB on this. So these, if you notice, I don't know if the camera will pick this up either. These tail grips, they have a little tiny bit of axial play, which I assumed was normal, but I wanted to be sure, so I emailed SAB, and they said yes, it is 100% normal. So don't try to shim this out, because all three of them are the same, so it really looked like it was normal to me. Just figured I'd mention that. So I will, when I come back next time, I'll have my skids, all these parts on, my side panels, and I'll show how it looks when it's bolted together. Let's see. That's going to be, these parts are the foam. These two blocks for the skids, and this piece canopy see what else. ESC stuff. Oh no, I'm looking for I've seen this piece in the bag, in the box here. This. I just can't find it right now, and I don't want to keep the camera on while I look for the stuff. So I'll come back and have all this done, and we'll take a look at it. It's going to be really looking like a helicopter now. So I'll be back. Alright, so quickly, I've got out all the parts for the landing gear, and I'm going to attempt to put the side plates on, build the landing gear quick with these two things, put these plates on, two plates, and get it bolted to the mechanics, and then it'll look like a helicopter. I'm going to stop this video here because it's going over 30 minutes. But I just wanted to show this stuff quick before I put it together. I noticed one thing on this. I guess the fake missiles that they have is two holes that I guess if you want to use the missiles you have to drill it, which is no big deal, but I guess some people don't want to. I mean, why wouldn't you put them on, right? There's some stuff here. Rockets. I'll definitely do that. So I'll probably have to, I don't know if I have to do that now, if I can do it afterwards. Looks like I have to do it now, honestly. But when I come back, starting part 3, I'll have the landing gear all together, maybe have the rockets on and the top of it bolted on, and we'll see what it looks like after that. Thanks for checking it out.